Hello everyone. In this segment, we will learn how to solve a nonlinear equation in MATLAB. Let's take an example. Find a root of an equation f of x is equal to x cube minus x minus 1 by using bisection method between 0 and 2. The limits of x are 0 and 2 up to 2 decimal point accuracy. Bisection method is the simplest method. Because of its simplicity, many softwares use this bisection method, but this is bit slow. But using fast computers, we can get the solution very fast. The solution will converge very fast if we use fast computers. Okay, if you don't know how bisection method works, I recommend you to go to my playlist on numerical methods for engineers and see how bisection method works. Okay, the algorithm of bisection is very simple. It is based on intermediate value theorem. Okay, so let's see how what is the solver in MATLAB which is uses bisection method. Okay, so the solution, if you see my lectures on numerical methods, and if you see bisection method lecture, I have solved the same problem using a bisection method. After some iterations, I got the solution 1.32. Okay, so in MATLAB, the function we will use to solve this equation is f0 function. Okay, f0 function is used to solve nonlinear equations. Okay, and this f0 function uses bisection method algorithm. Okay, so the syntax is you should write f0 in small letters. Okay, then the bracket will open. Okay, bracket parenthesis, then single quote open, and define your function. Okay, the function is x cube minus x minus 1. So x cube, so x to the power 3 minus x, okay, minus 1. So after writing your function, close single quotes, then comma. Okay, after comma, square bracket open. Okay, and give the limits. All our equations in engineering are finite. All our systems are finite. We don't work on infinite systems. Always we work on finite system. So we have a limit for x. Okay, so x lower limit is 0, and x lower limit is 0, and x lower upper limit is 2. Okay, so 0 lower limit space 2, close your square brackets. Okay, then close your parenthesis. Okay, so the syntax is very simple. f0, okay, all are in small, then in single quotes define your function of which you want to find the roots. Okay, define that function, and then give your lower limit and upper limit in square braces. Okay, so let's go back to MATLAB software and see the solution. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, so in command window I will execute this program because it is a very small program. Okay, so f0, okay, f0 small braces open. Okay, so single quotes x cube, okay, minus x, what was the function, x cube minus x minus 1, so x cube minus x minus 1. Okay, then single quotes close, comma, lower limit and upper limit 0 space and 2. Okay, now enter. So this solution is 1.3247. the exact solution is 1.3247. okay, suppose instead of 2 you would have given 1. Okay, the lower limit is 0, the upper limit is 1, and now if you press enter, okay, you will get a error warning. It says the function values at the interval endpoints must differ in sign. The function values at the interval endpoints must differ in sign, means the f0 functions uses intermediate value theorem, or it uses bisection method to solve the problem. Okay, so by using f0 function, any you can find the root of any equation in a single row. Okay, so let's take some let's take a transcendental equation, a complex equation. The thermal conductivity of the nanofluid. Nanofluid is the is like in last 10 years, this has become a very interesting topic for research for many engineers. Okay, so many researchers are working on nanofluids. It got some special properties like enhancing the thermal conductivity of the base fluids. Okay, so the thermal conductivity of the nanofluid is given by the basic equation, this equation. Okay, this is the very basic equation. There are so many models. This is the initial Maxwell model, very basic model, where this phi is your particle volume fraction. Okay, alpha p is thermal conductivity of the particle, alpha f is thermal conductivity of your base fluid. Okay, and alpha effective is your effective thermal conductivity of the nanofluid. Okay, suppose if you know your partial volume fraction, and if you know the thermal conductivity of the particle which are using which have made the nanoparticles of that particle, and then you know the thermal conductivity of the base fluid. So when you mix this particle and particle, when you disperse this particles, nanoparticles in this base fluid, you will get a nanofluid. So what will be the thermal conductivity of your base fluid? Okay, so this equation represents the thermal conductivity of your, how to find the thermal conductivity of the base fluid. Okay, so for an example, let's take the volume fraction. The particle volume fraction is 0.33. Okay, and let's take the thermal conductivity of the particle. Let's take copper particle. So copper particles will be having a thermal conductivity around 110 watt per meter square Kelvin. Okay, and let's take water as your base fluid. Water as your base fluid. So water thermal conductivity will be around 10. Okay, so you are going to mix the copper nanoparticles in dispersed copper nanoparticles in water. So then what is your effective thermal conductivity of nanoparticle? The base fluid is water and the particle is nanoparticle is copper. Okay, so you know the copper thermal conductivity, you know the base fluid thermal conductivity, you know what volume fraction you are mixing copper nanoparticles. Okay, that is 0.33. so what is your effective thermal conductivity of your nanofluid? Okay, so this is a transcendental non-linear equation. Okay, it is a transcendental equation. So to find this, we need to solve this equation. We need to solve this equation. Okay, we need to solve this equation. Okay, so let's go back to our MATLAB software. Okay, let me clear everything. Okay. Okay, so I'll use a f0 function. Okay, then I will write my equation. So my equation is pi particle volume fraction. So that is 0.33 times the thermal conductivity of the particle, okay, minus the effective, let the effective thermal conductivity of the nanofluid be x, okay. So over, okay, over 110 the particle thermal conductivity plus x, okay. So let me put brackets so that everything I will group it, okay. So plus, okay, again one more bracket, okay, 1 minus the particle volume fraction, that is 0.33, okay, times, okay, thermal conductivity of the fluid, that is 10, minus thermal conductivity of the nanofluid, which we don't know, okay, which we are going to find through F0 function, okay, over thermal conductivity of the fluid plus 2 times thermal conductivity of the nanofluid, okay. So okay, now I should give the lower limit and upper limit. So lower possible thermal conductivity of the nanofluid and the upper possible thermal conductivity of the nanofluid, okay. If you see the physics behind the alloys and composites, everything, when you mix two metals or when you mix two compounds, the resultant compound or resultant alloy or the resultant substance will be its thermal conductivity will always lies between the lowest and the highest. So now water is having the lowest thermal conductivity, that is 10, whereas copper nanoparticles is having the highest thermal conductivity, 110. So on mixing this small nanoparticles, small 0.33 percentage of nanoparticles, okay, 0.33 percentage of nanoparticles in a base fluid like water, the water thermal conductivity will increase from 10 to some extent. Let's see to what extent it is increasing, okay. So when I press enter, so I will get 29.6364 watt per meter square Kelvin, okay. So the water thermal conductivity is increased from 10 to 29.6364, okay. So MATLAB is a very important application, okay, which every engineer should have in his laptop, okay. So whenever you come across through these equations, it will be very easy for you to find the roots and to analyze your problems, okay. I hope you like this lecture. In the next lecture, we will learn how to do regression analysis or curve fitting based on linear least square method. Thank you.